close my eyes.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the Summer Sizzle series. I'd hate to break it to you, but the real secret to true fat loss success and reaching your fat loss goals in a sustainable way so that you keep the results for good once you get them, it's not going to be through one magical meal plan or one single or two crazy workouts. No, unfortunately, there's a little bit more to it, and that's going to be what we're diving into in today's video. And this magical tool I like to call building structured momentum. One of the biggest problems, or one of the biggest challenges, not only for myself when I just get started in a fat loss phase, but also for many of my other clients, is just the feeling of overwhelm and having a hard time getting started, having a hard time building that momentum or getting that rocket off the ground, if you will, just in general right from the beginning. And structured momentum is in place to help you start this fat loss phase on the right foot, build some momentum, refine over time, and honestly, it is essential. So if you've ever noticed in a fat loss phase that you've been inconsistent, or maybe you haven't had accurate tracking with your calories or your macros, or maybe a hard time adhering to your plan just in general, building structured momentum, it's gonna be a key for you. So what I'd like to do now is have us actually pop on over to FitBody, because number one, at FitBody, we have an InBody, which is an electroimpedance scan, which I am going to be able to get a good, accurate reading as to where my starting body fat percentage is for the Summer Sizzle Challenge. Then we're gonna go over the 4 core habits that make up building structured momentum. Okay, so those results surprised me a little bit, but hey, I will take it. We are at 15.1% body fat, but we still do got a little ways to go, and that is gonna be super manageable going into the Summer Sizzle Challenge over the next 8 weeks. Let's dive into this InBody a little bit more though. All right, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty pumped and a little surprised at these results. If I'm being 110% honest with you, I thought over the bulk of the past like 3 to, actually no, it's probably been more about 5 to 6 months now, I honestly thought that I put on a lot more body fat. And I will say, about a month ago, I was probably a little bit higher in body fat percentage, about when I started to pull back on the calories a little bit, because I just felt like that was the right time to call that bulk quits. And so I might have leaned out a little bit from then. But with that being said, guys, let's dive into these results here. So first up, body weight, we are currently sitting at 163.2 pounds. My goal, or usually like the range that I know I typically will be around that 10% body fat, is right around the 155 mark. And I know that might sound kind of crazy, but sometimes it takes reaching those numbers to get down to a lean percent body fat. And right around the 10 to 12, I actually kind of want to reach about 10. I think we are going to set that bar high or set that bar low, whatever way you want to look at it, and really push for that 10% so we get ultra sizzled for this summer season. And guys, we are in a great starting point. With our body fat percentage, we are at 15.1% body fat to get started. 15.1. I honestly thought I was gonna be around 17 to 18, maybe potentially even 19. I was gonna gasp a little at the InBody if I did see the 18 or 19, but we're a good 3% down from that. So 15.1 is the starting point. So we got 5% body fat to lose. Also, some pretty exciting stuff. I also went up 2.5 pounds of lean muscle. So went from 76.1 to 78.7 pounds of lean skeletal muscle mass, 2.5 pounds of lean skeletal muscle mass going up in about 5 months time. I'll take that too. So all in all, we are at an awesome starting point and very achievable to go from 15 to 10% body fat in the next 8 weeks here in the Summer Sizzle Challenge. Now that we know exactly what the goal is, again, I cannot say enough how important clarity is with having a goal. Whenever it comes to you starting a fat loss phase, a muscle building phase, or anything like that, you will always see me as a coach saying, I want you to be as clear as possible with both your scalable goals and your non-scalable goals before we come here and we hit the whiteboard and actually set input goals. Now, input goals, we're gonna set 4 of them. And these are the 4 core habits towards your fat loss, towards building muscle. These are the 4 main inputs that we can control to take you from point A to point B with honestly whatever fitness related goal it is that you have for yourself. Now, it's super important that when it comes to setting these goals, we set them in a smart way, okay? Smart, structured way. And that right there is building structured momentum. So let's dive into all of these 4 core habits up here and let's get this challenge started with some structured momentum. All right, guys, it is officially time to start building some structured momentum here. Now, first, you guys might be wondering what the heck exactly is building structured momentum? Why do we build structured momentum? What's the point of this? Again, sometimes when you are just hitting the ground running, you don't have momentum built. And it's important that we not only build some structure into our program, but we also build some structure that is attainable, that's feasible, that fits in with your lifestyle. You don't want to just do a copy and paste program. You want to make sure that you are coming up with a program that is taking charge of all of the 4 core habits, the main inputs that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but also that aligns, or we align these inputs or these 4 core habits with your lifestyle so that you are able to maintain consistency with each of the 4 core habits all in general. So first up, core habit number 1, this is going to be exercise. Now, exercise is made up of 2 different parts, okay? The first part of exercise is going to encompass our movement. Now, our movement is our overall amount of steps that we get in a day, and that could be at work, that could be throughout your day, hiking, biking, mountain biking, skateboarding, any of that kind of stuff. Movement, it adds up, it burns calories, and we wanna make sure that we are standardizing our movement and starting out with a SMART goal. For myself, I'm gonna be starting my movement at 8K steps per day. Now again, very attainable for myself, but I don't wanna start and hit the ground running too crazy with like a 12,000 step goal a day or something like that. That can be saved maybe in a little bit down the road when I'm experiencing fat loss plateaus, and that is a tool to help overcome that. Next up, after movement, we are going to have resistance training. Now, resistance training when you're in a fat loss phase is super important for making sure that we hold on to our lean muscle mass. That's the one thing when we go into a fat loss phase, when you place yourself in a caloric deficit, you run the risk of losing muscle mass. And you can fight against that by doing 2 things: resistance training and followed a structured resistance training program, ensuring that you are maintaining the same weight or getting a certain rep range so that your body is given the stimulus to stay on your body. That's option number 1. Or also, we'll talk about that here in a second, but with your nutrition, protein. Protein is gonna be the second guy that makes sure that you hold on to your lean muscle mass while you're in a deficit. So resistance training, not only is it gonna burn some calories, but the main thing, it's gonna help you hold on to your lean muscle mass while you're losing that body fat, and that is going to lead to the body composition that we all want to see. Now, another big thing that I have to mention here is for both the movement and the resistance training or the exercise in general, I'm gonna make sure that I am setting myself up for success right off the get-go with a custom program that fits best for my lifestyle. I'm currently gonna be lifting 5 times per week. And again, 5 isn't necessarily better than 4. If 4 bets works for your lifestyle, then I would say start and build that structure momentum with your plan with 4 resistance training sessions per week, and also that step goal or that movement goal as well. All right, guys, the next core habit is going to be nutrition. And nutrition, it is going to be the main stage when you are in a fat loss phase. We cannot out-train a bad diet. And when it comes to losing body fat, it is a slow, steady, consistent process, but you have to make sure that you are staying dialed in with your nutrition. In the past, I have gone into fat loss phases before where I'm not tracking. I'm not tracking my calories. I'm not tracking my protein, my carbs, and my fats. And when you're not doing that, or when you're not tracking, you really are steering that jet without any radars. And guess what? You're gonna be flying with blind spots. And so when you are tracking your nutrition is actually going to give you more clarity. It's gonna give you better balance when you're in a fat loss phase, because you're gonna know how much calories you do have left in the day to make sure that you are hitting your goal, or also how much calories you don't have left to go. And again, we wanna make sure that this is a fat loss phase and not turning it into a fat loss lifestyle where it goes on for a long period of time and you also then run the risk of losing muscle mass. We don't want that. We wanna make sure that in a fat loss phase, we get in, we start strong, we start fully committed, and then we achieve and get the heck out of a caloric deficit or a fat loss phase. Because if you stay in a fat loss phase forever, your body's gonna adapt to that, your metabolism's gonna crash, you're gonna lose muscle mass. We don't want that. So nutrition, it's all about tracking your calories and your macronutrients. Now, when we first start, luckily we get to set those calories and those macros up a little bit higher, but over time, when you go through the fat loss phase, you're going to have to make changes to your calories. You're gonna have to make changes to your macros or your protein, carbs, and fats to make sure that you're constantly overcoming these fat loss plateaus, because they are inevitable. And so we don't wanna just set it and forget it. We wanna make sure that we set it, we track our progress, we take our changes in our weights, and we make changes according to our calories and macros, or potentially also our steps as well. And that is what's going to lead us over time to a successful fat loss phase. All right, y'all, the third of the 4 core habits, it is going to be your hydration. Hydration is so important, not only when you're in a fat loss phase, but when you're in a muscle building phase and any time you're waking up and going through life, because we need water for most of our cellular processes to go down inside of our body. We're gonna have way more energy if we drink our water. Water is also gonna help aid in digestion as well. And not only that too, but when you're in a fat loss phase, water is definitely gonna help you feel fuller. So what is a smart goal for you to set or to start with when it comes to your hydration goal? I would highly suggest hitting half of your body weight in ounces of water a day. For myself, I drink a gallon of water a day, and I've been doing this for so long now. But for you, if you're just getting started and you're just building this structured momentum once again, try and hit half your body weight in ounces of water a day, or maybe even pull it back and break it into pieces. Maybe let's just use 80 ounces of water a day. When you first wake up, you wake up in a dehydrated state. So I'm gonna strongly suggest that when you first wake up, and this is something that I do, I would wake up and drink 20 ounces of water first thing in the morning. So typically on my schedule, I wake up, I use the restroom, and then I hop on the scale and I track my body stats inside of the coaching app. Once I do that, I have the data that I need to make adjustments to my calories over time. And then I will see all of my tasks, and I check off all these tasks first thing in the morning. And one of those tasks is, did I hit my hydration goal from yesterday? And then when I check that guy off, it also reminds me, hey, I need to head on over, fill this guy up, and take out 20 ounces, put my creatine in there, put my salt in there for a little bit of sodium, a little bit of electrolytes, and electrolyte mix in there as well. Once I do that, I'm starting my day in a hydrated state, and I do this even before caffeine. But again, if you can start your day with 20 ounces of water a day, and then 20 with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, guess what? That's 80 ounces a day. And if you're really forgetting on the hydration, I would strongly suggest set those alarms. All right, y'all, the fourth and the final of the 4 core habits, it is your sleep. Make sure we are getting 7+ hours of sleep every single night. And now I will say, even for myself, this is a challenging habit, but it is an essential habit. When we are sleeping, sleep is the foundation of our recovery. And when we are sleeping and when we get that 7 hours of sleep, that is giving our body enough adequate time to get into deep sleep or REM sleep. And when you're in deep sleep, that is when your body is recovering the most. When you go into the gym and you do your resistance training sessions, that's when we are tearing down those muscle fibers. Now, with proper nutrition, with proper hydration, and getting enough sleep during that sleeping period, that is when your body is rebuilding those muscle fibers to become bigger and stronger. And when you're in a fat loss phase, it's going to be super crucial to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, because not only are you getting less energy from less calories because you're in a calorie deficit, but your body also is not getting as much calories and macronutrients when you're in a fat loss phase, which can make it harder for your body to recover as well. And so your body is going to really need this essential time to help recover after of those hard training sessions, and maybe even some of the higher intensity movement sessions such as running or something like that. Whoo, man, that was an absolute day and a half. Guys, we are done here at Fit Body, but I'm gonna be honest with you, we got a bit of a quick turnaround time. And all in all, guys, I just have to say that I've been having a lot of fun creating this content again, and just honestly getting outside of my comfort zone and picking up this camera, getting back to vlogging, getting back used to just everything in general. I have a very new content strategy, not just here on YouTube. Gonna be posting a lot more here on YouTube for y'all, but also on Instagram as well. And actually, really quick, check out this awesome key that I got. Let's see, it's focusing on my face. Let's see if it'll focus now. You go check out this awesome key that I get to lock up with every single day. Well, okay, maybe I'm not locking up every single day, but you guys get the point. Anyways, guys, momentum has been created, not just here in the Summer Sizzle Challenge, but also with posting back on YouTube again. And honestly, it feels so, so good. Over the past couple months, I have been just in a big building phase, and don't get me wrong, you know, it's important that you continue to do the things that you need to do, especially when it comes to an online business. You have to be posting content. But again, for myself, I just truly didn't feel like I was creating content, and I didn't feel like I was fully aligned with just everything in general. And so I really just needed to get my vision straight. And that's the same thing when it comes to you reaching your fitness goals. A lot of people, they don't really have like a exact fitness goal that they're trying to reach. They don't know how much pounds they want to lose, or they don't know what body fat percentage it is that they want to get to, and they just keep things broad. And when you keep things broad, you don't set intentional goals. And so for myself, you know, I'm gonna relate this back, but I really wanted to just take some time to intentionally dial in my vision with my online coaching business, which about 2.5, 3 months ago is when Elevation Nation, that name, finally just rang a bell, and instantly fell in love with it. And again, I've been really wanting to create not just a online coaching program, but inside of that have a coaching community, and a whole community not just based around fitness, but also self-mastery, where there's going to be learning modules in there that dive into time management, habit formation, all the way down to recipe breakdowns, or the cookbook as well. That's going to be in there as well. More to come on that soon, but I'm not going to dive into that too much right now, just because right now I just want to end the day and just finalize talking about the building structured momentum side of things. Day number 1 for myself in the Summer Sizzle Challenge. Honestly, we were off to a great start. We completed the 4 core habits. Well, actually, just about got a little bit of water to drink up on here. And then I got one more meal that I get to complete at home as well. And then we can officially check off the 4 core habits for the day. But I just want you guys to know that as we go through and as you go through a fat loss phase, you're going to have those habits change over time. And you're going to need to make little tweaks to those 4 core habits over time as well, because it's inevitable that you're going to have a fat loss plateau pop up. And when you have a fat loss plateau that pops up, we have a couple different tools we can use when it comes to breaking that fat loss plateau. And number 1 is going to be either dropping the calories, which I try and avoid for as long as possible, or we can also increase steps a little bit. But right now at the very beginning, you know, if I haven't been tracking calories in a while, or maybe this is your first time ever tracking calories just in general, you're not going to be used to it. You're not going to be used to a tracking app, and there's a lot of potential for overwhelm, which is what you do not want to have happen. And so it's super important that you create that structure momentum from the get-go. You set the bar or the barrier to entry low, and then you refine your process over time. Look at the sunset actually really quick. I'm gonna go back outside. Look at this. This is beautiful. Look at that. Okay, we're gonna hang out here for a little bit longer. But yeah, guys, again, it's so important that, yes, you do get started and you set smart goals right off the bat. But keep in mind that the main thing is with a clear vision towards your goals that you have for yourself, you want to make sure that, still getting used to this, you want to make sure that you are getting started in the right fashion. And so, again, if you're not sure how to do workout programming, which is a big hurdle for a lot of people, if you're not sure where in the heck to even start when it comes to tracking your calories or your macros, which is the main driver for you reaching your fat loss goal, if you're not sure how to dial these in, then join the Summer Sizzle Challenge, guys. I got your back. It's an 8-week program. You can click the first link down in the description to join today. I got an awesome deal for everyone to get started inside of the Summer Sizzle Challenge. And if you have any other questions, feel free to follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message on Instagram. Or again, if you click the first link in the description here in the YouTube video, that is a very easy way for you to figure out a lot more as to what it entails. But all in all, guys, again, building structure momentum, that is exactly what we did here today. And yeah, now we just got to keep this momentum going every single day. Just like picking up this camera again, I honestly kind of looked at it and I paused, and well, this is a couple days ago, but when I first picked this camera back up, I honestly froze for a second and I just didn't even know what to say. But it was because I just didn't create any momentum, or I didn't have any momentum created at all. And you guys can probably tell now, starting to get it back. So it feels good to create momentum with content being created again. It feels good to get back to tracking the calories and being in a caloric deficit. We don't have that far to go. 15% body fat down to about 10%. I'd like to get a little bit below 10%. We'll see what time has to tell there. But all in all, guys, if you are interested in joining me in the Summer Sizzle Challenge as well, click that first link down in the description. I won't mention it anymore in this video. But for now, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you are new here to the channel as well, don't forget to hit this subscribe button right here, because I release new YouTube videos every single week and you do not want to miss out on those, guys. If you did miss the last video right here, which goes into detail what has been going on behind the scenes with Elevation Nation, the Summer Sizzle Challenge, and just my life in general, then check this guy out right here. Guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.